invited today, DTM Abdul Rahim.
So much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Pravi Shankar Ghosh. Excellent meeting, excellent session conducted by you. I think this has been one of the few meetings where a general evaluator's role is relegated to being a needle searcher in a haystack. He's got to actually find out small things of improvement, but mostly I would say today's is not a general evaluation section, but a general learning section, something where we can all learn from the exemplary roles played by all the Toastmasters, whether DTM or otherwise. Let me start with the beginning. The meeting started exactly on time, which is what is expected from distinguished Toastmasters, a distinguished meeting itself. We had our first Sergeant at Arms, Ayan Pal. And Ayan has this uncanny behavior of hearing everything in rhymes and speaking them in rhymes. And I really envy the way he does that. But he was so poetic, he was tongue in cheek, he was talking about so many things, and he put all the rules out very, very well. In fact, you had to take on words using taboo words and using taboo as a topic. I think that was really exemplarily done. Ayan, I think you did a fantastic job. If anybody wants to do a role as a sergeant at arms in an online meeting, I think this is the recording they should refer to, of introducing it eloquently, introducing it differently. The only suggestion I have, Ayan, is perhaps since this was a very different sort of a meeting, if you could have just set that tempo up, that we are here to witness a historical meeting. We are here to witness something great, a joint meeting between two clubs and with distinguished Toastmasters around. That could have just set the tone of that meeting. But otherwise, a fantastic role that you played and introduced the president as well wonderfully. Can we have a huge round of applause for Ayan Pal as Sergeant at Arms today? Next, we had our president of VirtuoMasters Club, Seema Ramesh. And Seema came in. She was very, very gracious in introducing the co-president, who will be speaking at the end. That is Sagar, and she acknowledged him by his full name, Rana Singha, which is very nice and very thoughtful, Seema. I think very well. You went and moved into guest introductions, and then you went into the introductory speech where you talked about why we had this speech. You talked about your confusions about DTM and how you eventually realized the journey and the effort behind every DTM. I think it was excellently done overall. I really like the energy that you had, Seema, right through, and that energy was very much needed in a meeting like this where you had a large audience of 80 plus people right through the meeting. Excellently done. My only suggestion could be, Seema, whether you could have had a little message in that speech. You were talking about the DTM part, you talked about the role of continuous effort to reach that, but whether it could be taken beyond DTM and put that as a message. Every president is entitled to give an inspiring speech at the beginning of every meeting. And that is, I think, something which you could take in so that it goes beyond just this meeting or the DTM title. But overall, a great job done, especially in introducing the guests and taking the time to give them the comfort in a new area, in a new meeting that they were here. So congratulations and well done, Seema Ramesh. Can we have a huge round of applause for Seema Ramesh for this? After that, we moved on to we moved on to the Master of Ceremonies, of course. And DTM Prati Shankar Ghosh, what a role he has played today. Fantastic. I mean, I will come back to you at the end of the thing, but all I can say is that your lesson, your entire session today was a lesson, a journey on how to be a Toastmaster of the day. I think it was really fantastic, and I will come back. But I will take one aspect of yours here, which is about the theme. You picked up the theme of journey, and that journey was echoed right in the beginning by President, and then right through, even as much as in the table topics. So the theme and the thread which kept the meeting together was introduced so beautifully. I'll come back to you at the end. When I report on the MCs. We then moved on to the first speech, and I will now invite the evaluator of the first speaker, that is DTM Rohan Nag. Thank you so much, DTM Rohan. Excellent evaluation. I think all the points that I had noted down, you've already mentioned them. So excellent, great job done, Rudro. I think what the points he mentioned, especially about humor and the message, are really, really, I think, lessons that all of us should learn. Even in as insipid a speech as an icebreaker, you use a perfect word like an epiphany, And the epiphany came to me when I was hearing that speech, that how an individual, how an ice-breaking speech can make a difference to a large number of people. Your message, your reference to the TED Talk was really excellent. The only suggestion further that I have, Rudro, is you were looking down slightly when I was noticing, perhaps you were looking at the photograph or the video, which was a little lower in the screen. The only way of maintaining eye contact in the camera is to look at the camera and not the video. So I think that's just something we all need to learn, because we are so used to having eye contact. Now eye contact needs to be replaced by camera eye contact. And that's something we all need to learn. But otherwise, a great speech. Can we have a huge round of applause for Rudro, as well as his evaluator, Rohan. Excellent. We then moved on after that short but very, very enriching prepared speech session to the second milestone, that was the table topic session. And in the table topic session, we had DTM Shayak Chandra. Shayak, what a session. What a fantastic selection of topics. What an innovative way of having one Toastmaster, one distinguished Toastmaster, and then following it up with that. Fantastic. You helped us all to see different aspects of the same topic. You gave contrary topics following each other so that we could perceive the various facets of that journey, which was your theme itself. I think you started up by mentioning about Donald Trump and whatever you would like to do, you can do over there. You gave the rules very well. And I think you had a selection of topics also that differed by Toastmaster and Distinguished Toastmaster, having a little more challenging topics for them. Really, really thoughtful and wonderfully done. I think you did everything perfectly. I think I will go to the speakers later, but I think even the transitions that you gave were really perfect. Again, an exemplary role by a table topic master, if anybody wants to know that. So I think just moving on to the various table topic masters before we come back to the table master ceremonies, we had the first speaker as Mehul. Journey is as much important as the destination. Again, a good take by Mehul on that, on the importance of the 9 steps which follow it as well, his Varanasi to Anand journey, etc., and ended up with the Martin Luther King. Great take, Mehul. I think very well done. A little bit more confidence and energy needed, but otherwise great content. Well done. Can we have a round of applause for Mehul as well? We then had our next DTM Arnab Nag. The start of a journey should never be mistaken for success. Very good introduction taken by you. You gave the example of Virendra Sehwag, and you talked about maintaining the momentum. Again, I think the learning for all of us is how angles are taken on topics. Instead of just speaking on it in a very direct way, he talked about the hare and the tortoise story, and many Toastmasters, how they've stopped their journey in the beginning rather than continuing towards the end. In fact, it's a fact that somebody who completes DTM continues longer than somebody who gives up before competing in the first level. So I think that's great learning and a great way of doing it. Excellently done, Arnab, and education for all of us. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Arnab. We then had our next speaker, Ishika, when she talked about on a long journey, even a straw is heavy. And Ishika used the famed pendulum method, where she talked about both sides of the story. She talks about one, why should we even carry a straw? And the second, we actually carry a straw because we are overthinkers. And she addressed both of them. I think very well done, Ishika. I know you're a new Toastmaster, a relatively new Toastmaster, and you had a really good message where you talked about don't carry any emotional baggage. I think it's a little bit more practice and confidence that will give you the energy to make it a little more impactful, but content-wise, very well done. A round of applause for Ishika as well. After that, we had DTM Shivpriya. I think she came up with such a beautiful story. As a student, as a child, she was on a train journey, and she was ticking off all those journey stations. And when she finally reached, she said, I've achieved this. But her dad made her realize that the actual journey, she missed a lot of things. I think fantastic. Again, something to learn from. How a different take on the topic can result in a very different result in terms of impact that it creates. Fantastic. I really have nothing much to add on that. Fantastic. Again, very good speech, Shivpriya. Can we have a huge round of applause for Shivpriya? And I think we have Harsh Gupta after that, who's just a new Toastmaster. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Very nice, very well done, Harsh. Good start that you've taken. Only suggestion is you were looking down a little bit whenever you were looking away from the screen, perhaps. Just take that courage and look right at the camera. You don't even have to look at the people. Just look at the camera, and that will give you the confidence to continue speaking. But well done as a start, and really well, good take on that. Can we have a round of applause for Harsh Gupta as well? After that, we had DTM Jennifer Ghosh. Again, DTM Jennifer Ghosh had the topic of 90% of the journey. When you're through 90% of your journey, you are halfway there. And what a take she had on that. She started off with age being just a number and then saying 100 is just a number. And there's nothing like an end. 90 is not the 10 away from 100. It's actually a long way to go beyond that. And she went on talking about her journey in Toastmasters and what it taught us. I think, Janidhi, you had a fantastic take on the topic. My only apprehension or my only observation was whether you needed to continue to 235 because you actually went over time. Perhaps stopping a little early and not repeating some of that would have made it even more impactful. So I think that is just one suggestion I have. But otherwise, great take and something again to learn. Can we have a huge round of applause for our immediate past district director, DTM Jennifer Ghosh. After that, we had Ashutosh Mundra. He who stops at every stone, never gets to his journey's end. I thought that was so unique as a topic, but his treatment of that was even more unique. He went up and converted that stone to something which everybody does, and then converted it to a milestone. And he says, I don't want to be on the road which has got milestones. I want to be on the rough road which nobody has yet measured or put milestones out there. Excellently taken, Ashutosh. And again, this is again the angle which you've taken on the topic. Very well done. You talked about choosing your own path, not the crowds. Very, very well done, Ashutosh. A little bit more practice and confidence will give you even more ability to express your thoughts, which are already very, very well established. A round of applause for Ashutosh Mundra. Then we had our DTM Hugh from US joining in. Thank you so much, Hugh, for coming in. It's very encouraging to see people across the world using technology, joining it over here. Never set out a journey using someone else's donkey. And what a take you had. Not a donkey, I need a car. And my car is Toastmasters because the journey I'm on is one of personal, continuous self-improvement. Fantastic take on that. And he talked about the DTM car. Again, I think each DTM is an education for us. I think today, as I said, is a general learning session. And this again is a fantastic way of addressing and taking on the topic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hugh, for joining us. Can we have a huge round of applause for DTM Hugh, who joined in to this meeting especially. Of course, after that, we had Satyadeep. Satyadeep, one who bathes willingly with cold water does not feel the cold. DTM Satyadeep. Fantastic take. Again, by struggles are inevitable and show me a strong person with an easy path, with an easy past. Face the storm and then weather it. I think fantastic take, Satyadeep. You gave your example about your competitive exams. Really nothing more to add. I think it was very, very well done. Can we have a huge round of applause for Satyadeep as well? We have Pratiti Sengupta, who is a new Toastmaster or about to be a new Toastmaster. If you're carrying the egg basket, do not dance. You spoke very short, Pratiti, but it's understandable. But even then, you were talking about multitasking, how you're multitasking, and how a book called Hyper Focus challenges your thinking, and also about Mahabharata. So you were more of thinking aloud, but at least the thinking is there, and that will find expression the moment you become a Toastmaster and get more such opportunities to speak. So very well done. I think very well done, Pratiti. Congratulations, and a round of applause for her. We had after that DTM Ekta Shetty. She was not there. Then I spoke, which I will not commend. And then we moved on to Toastmaster Archita. Archita, even the lion has to protect himself against the flies. What a beautiful take. What a beautiful take. All of us are lions, but yet we have those small irritants, flies, whom we have to defend ourselves from. Those flies of anger, of hate, of laziness, and all these things that we need to be careful of. Only suggestion, Archita, I noticed you were speaking a little fast. So maybe if you were a little slower in your pace and maybe having a little pauses, it would have been even more impactful. So I think that's about it as far as the meeting is concerned. Now I'll come back to the Toastmaster of the day. That's none other than distinguished Toastmaster Prati Shankar. Prati, I think you did a fantabulous job, which is something, I have no words to commend and to really appreciate the hard work that has been done by you. I can understand that. You started off with the first step on the moon, the date, 1969, and then moved on to the 1930 date about Mahatma Gandhi and the Gandhi March. And you talked about learning happens in the journey, not in the destination. Such a fantastic opening. It got us all thinking. I first was thinking whether you were born in 1969 when you quoted the date. But then I realized you're not that old. So we were looking at an absolutely gripping opening, and the message came out so beautifully. And then you consider each DTM as a journey. and you took snippets from those journeys and presented it while introducing them. So thoughtful, so meticulous, and so much hard work done by you. I really, really appreciate that. You then linked the whole meeting to the journey like a mountain. You talked about the first part as a climber's journey, where you have prepared speeches. The second as ad hoc and short trips called table topics. And the third is the social awareness. And I really love that. Kakduip Naki Maldives. Would you go to Kakduip or Maldives? Even to think of that rhyming set of places would have taken so much time. But that just shows the more sugar you put in, the sweeter the drink is. And that's what you've done. You really put in your heart and soul in it, and that was very much aware. You talked about Newton, you talked about Archimedes, you talked about Rudro introducing him, you said nature, stature, and curvature. I think fantastic. Even otherwise, I think so many things I've noted all over. You talked about the evaluator as being the guide to the traveler on the journey. Fantastic analogies and really insights into this. I have nothing else to add, Brati, except that again, I feel that you are also looking at the video, like even I do at times, but just the whole question is looking at the camera. In our new avatar, this is the eye. And we have to expand our vision to actually look at our videos and at the other videos by the corner of our eye. But I think that's just the only suggestion I would have. But otherwise, a great and a grand meeting brought to fruition through the thread of journey, which was woven by the Toastmaster of the day, DTM Brati Shankar Ghosh. Can we have a huge round of applause for Brati Shankar Ghosh as the Toastmaster? Fantastic. Now that I have completed the evaluation, that we call upon my team members to quickly give their feedback and their reports. Could we have the timer of the day, DTM Hriday Ranjan, to give his report, please?
Thank you, DTM Abdul. So as I told in table topics, everybody is within the time except DTM Jennifer, just crossed 5 seconds. And the speaker in the prepare speech section, DTM Rudra, spoke for 6 minutes 30 seconds. And his evaluator, DTM Rohan, evaluated for 3 minutes 24 seconds. That's all from my end. Thank you very much.
So much for that. Thank you so much for your role. Could I request the R counter for today's meeting, DTM Archita Tiwari, to kindly give her report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. As per my report, it was very, very difficult for me to point out and find what are the R's and the ums, because the speakers were so exemplary by the standard of meeting. And I truly believe that the couple of observations that I have, Toastmaster Hriday used the word so multiple times. Toastmaster Rudro used the word apologies, am I audible?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, Toastmaster Rudro used the word 4 times and the word and about 3 times, which in places where I feel it could have been avoided. Toastmaster Shayak used the word well once and the word or the sound twice. Toastmaster Mihul was flawless. Toastmaster Arnab used the word so once and actually once. Toastmaster Ishika used the sound multiple times, the word so 4 times. Toastmaster Shivpriya used the word well once and so twice. Toastmaster Harsh had one long pause, multiple times usage of the word so, and once and at a place not required. DTM Jennifer Ghosh used the word so twice. Toastmaster Ayush used the word so twice and once. I feel that Toastmaster Ashutosh also has the habit of using the phrase wanted to as a crutch, which he used about 4 times. Distinguished Toastmaster Hugh used the word actually thrice, so twice, and once. Toastmaster Pratiti used the word so thrice and actually once. Toastmaster Rohan in his evaluation said the word so once. Distinguished Toastmaster Brati, I have a fun observation for you. You use the word right at the end of every sentence. For example, now moving on. That is what we've done. So, right, okay, going next. So the word right came up 4 times, and I feel it's your exclusive crutch word. Apologies, but I really think that is right according to me. And the one person who spoke a lot and yet did not manage to use a single crutch word is our general evaluator. And with all due respect, Abdul sir, I was really hoping you'd use at least one crutch word so that I would have something on my report for you. But you've been absolutely flawless, so there's no crutch word for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, DTM Archita. Are you in outside home in a lockdown? right?
Nope, I've just come up to my terrace because mom's teaching her kids virtually, like her students virtually.
He's now
So there's a
using
lot
those
of.
catch words for you, dear.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
great. Thank you
When
so
will I
much.
get these
Thank
jokes?
you,
Sorry.
Archita. Okay, calling on my grammarian, distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep Basu. Satyadeep, are you there?
Yes, Abdul, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, please. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mm, Good evening, everyone. The word of the day, exemplary, was used 6 times, and once Shivpriya posted it in the chat. Moving on, some of the good usages of grammar today: couldn't reveal my stupidity, enigmatic PR team, magnanimity of the meeting, present the conglomeration, sporting a hairstyle similar to Gandhi, and that was the best probably. Galaxy of stars, mm, a table topic master like Donald Trump, blistering start, and human being as overthinkers. I think these are some of the good ones, though the meeting was peppered with good usages of grammar. Some of the not so good usages which could have been done better. Somebody said thakumas and pishimas. It could have been done as read as grannies and aunties. Lead forward the section. It's either lead the section or take forward the section. Then asked him. I think it was a pronunciation. It's asked him. One of the kid. When you say one of, it's always a plural. One of the kids. Then somebody said journey start with a single step. It should be journey starts with a single step. Focus on good. Better is what is the outcome. I think then we can use us. If we focus on the good, better is the outcome. Uh, and then someone said recently become a DTM. Um, I think it was in the context, it was not right. That's all, Abdul, I have from the grammarian side. Overall, fantastic session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Satyadeep. The person who always speaks the truth, Satyadeep, right? So you heard from him. We had fantastic evaluation. Thank you to my team, the timer, the R counter, and the grammarian for doing a fantastic job in bringing this meeting together. And finally, I have to answer the question that I had promised to answer about my hairstyle, right? So only one quote I have, which says, all you people who've lost hair, don't you ever despair. The Lord could make only a few perfect heads, and all the others he had to hide with hair. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, Abdul.